I'm going to tell you a sad story. The story of Venezuela since 1960, a country that at one point was the richest country in Latin America, and today is in shambles. Between 1960 and 1975, Venezuela increased its reliance on the market system. During the 70s, Venezuela was the richest country in Latin America, helped in part because it has abundant reserves in oil. 1975 to 1989, Venezuela decreased dramatically its reliance on the market system. The government assumed the role of primary engine of economic growth. The government nationalized the steel and oil industries, among others. They instituted lots of subsidies for consumers for basic goods and services. Gasoline is it's still like 7 cents a gallon down there. Bread is cheap. However, starting in the early 1980s, per capita growth plunged. Moreover, corruption became widespread, and political patronage became the norm rather than the exception. There were some steps to increase reliance to the market system between 89 and 98. They didn't take it all the way back to where it was, in the 1970, but there was some cutback on the government intervention in the markets. The government sold scores of state-owned enterprises. They liberalized trade through tariff reductions, and they abolished most subsidies and price controls on goods and services. However, from 1998 through today, beginning with the election of Hugo Chavez, there had been decreased reliance on the market system. The government renationalized the steel industry, the telecommunication sector. It now has almost complete control over the oil sector. It has created the Venezuelan Development Fund to allocate huge oil revenues to social, national defense, and infrastructure projects, rather than having a lot of individuals making decisions about what to do with oil money. It's all done by one political board. The result? Today, water is rationed by the government. Electricity is limited too. Public offices open just 2 days a week, 4-hour power cuts across the country, and rolling blackouts are common. Basic medicines like aspirin are nowhere to be found. Supermarket shelves are often empty. Again, if you go to the stores, you can buy stuff cheaper. You can find it because they're heavily subsidized, or they have price controls on them that prevent the store owner from raising price. The problem is you just can't get it at the official price. In fact, an entire industry exists for people to obtain goods, sometimes in the gray area of the law, and then resell them at higher market prices to consumers, and consumers are willing to pay more than the official price because they can't get it otherwise. Finally, it is now the most corrupt country in the Americas. What a sad state of affairs. And as a sort of a free market economist, I simply sit here and wonder what could have been if they'd continued their reliance on the market system that they were beginning in the 60s and early 70s.